Hey, this is Trish here for Aroused Woman Wednesday. This is the first installment of Aroused Woman Wednesday. And if you're new to Aroused Woman, let me give you a little bit of an explanation about what Aroused Woman is. Arouse means to stir to action, to awaken. And the reason I use arouse as my moniker for my activism is because I want people to wake the hell up, stand up, speak up for the things that are right, like our basic civil rights and basic human rights, and to awaken to a lot of the crap going on around us and to speak up and speak out against it. Case in point, if you have read my blog, you'll know that one of my most popular blog pieces is an op-ed piece I wrote a couple years ago called Me, My Breasts, and I. And while the name may seem kind of funny, it actually was very emotional for me to write because it detailed the things that I have gone through in my life since I hit puberty at the age of 10, mainly because of these. The things that have happened to me, being groped, being attacked, literally pushed down into corners by some men who thought they were entitled to treat me like that just because I exist with large breasts. There is still a stereotype about women with naturally large breasts that we're loose, we're bad, we're slutty, we're whorish, and I don't know where this came from except through the vilification of women from religion, but that's another story. So anyway, I wrote this piece called Me, My Breast, and I a few years ago, and it's been very popular, and women have contacted me through Facebook and Twitter to tell me how much that they identify with this, about how they have been groped and handled and attacked simply because some men think that it's okay to do that to women. Well, I'm here to tell you some men who do this, no. Notice I'm saying some men. I'm not saying men, because not all men do this. Not all men treat women like this. So I am acknowledging that by saying some men. But the jackass men who do this, you know who you are, and you need to stop. So, why is today's topic for the very first Aroused Woman Wednesday? Why is it breasts? Well, a few days ago, I posted a picture on Facebook by a British photographer who was purposely making a statement about the inanity that exists about how men can go topless in public, but women can't. So what he did was he got two models that were very similar in skin tone and hair and similar in looks, and he photographed them naked on the bed just with their arms up like this, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful photo, and it was from the rib cage up, and it was a great photo. And what he was trying to do by showing that we have the same anatomy, I thought it was beautiful. So I posted it on Facebook. And people liked it, people shared it. Well, yesterday I got a notification from Facebook when I tried to log in and could not, that my picture had been reported and that I needed to review their terms of agreement, and I needed to review what is considered obscene. So here yet again, you have this horrible double standard in our society and in our social media, because Pinterest and all the others do it too, except Tumblr. It seems. Tumblr's cool. But men can go around topless. Social media, they can go around topless at the beach, jogging around town, walking in the park. They can be topless, but women can't. It's this stereotype that men's nipples are okay, but women's nipples, oh my God, women's nipples are evil and bad and horribly offensive and obscene. And this is just not true, because the reality is we have the same breast anatomy. Even for men, this right here, this part of their anatomy is called the male breast, because we have the exact same anatomy. This is the chest, but these are the breasts even on men. Men can get breast cancer. Men can grow breasts. We've all seen those guys at the beach, right? Well, I thought it was ridiculous. I removed the photo, even though I think it's stupid what Facebook is doing, but I'm not surprised, because like every other institutionalized system in our society, it's male dominated, and what men want, that's what they get. So later, yesterday, I read about the Supreme Court ruling in the Angela Ames case. This mother who came back to work at Nationwide Insurance back in 2010, she had just had her baby and she needed to pump breast milk. So she didn't have the baby with her, but she needed to pump breast milk, and that she was horribly engorged and she was hurting and in pain, and they wouldn't provide a room for her because she did not fill out certain paperwork in time, paperwork that takes 3 days to process, paperwork she didn't even know about. So anyway, so she filed a lawsuit because they were discriminating against her because she needed to breastfeed and they wouldn't let her. And breastfeeding is actually protected. Breastfeeding in public and in private is protected in nearly every state and in Washington, D.C. and the Virgin Islands. And yet there's also the federal protection on federal property and federal buildings. You can breastfeed. Well, nationwide, of course, said no. We stand by our firing, or she resigned, or whatever it was. Anyway, so she went through the court system. The Supreme Court yesterday gave their ruling saying that firing her was not sexist. That was her ground. She said, "You're firing me. It is sexist what you're doing to me." And the Supreme Court said, "No, it's not sexist." The reasoning is that because firing a woman for breastfeeding is not sexist because men can also lactate. Now, remember what we just said about how men and women have the same anatomy? Yes, men can lactate if they have an incredibly bad amount of estrogen in their system. Otherwise, men are not going to be lactating. They're not going to produce enough milk to breastfeed a kid once, much less routinely 10, 12 times a day for the kid's first 6 months of life, or, later down the road, at least a year that a kid should be breastfed. So it boggles the mind that here Facebook has discriminated against women's nipples because we're somehow different, and yet the Supreme Court says no, discriminating against breastfeeding mothers is okay because we actually aren't different. This kind of runaround, this kind of double standard, and this making it up as they go along, I have had it. It is time that women really stand up, and men who love and respect us stand up. Because, the thing is that even if this were a man breastfeeding, he was fired for breastfeeding, I'd be pissed off that he got fired for breastfeeding or pumping breast milk at work. But the reality is that it's not men breastfeeding the kids, even though men can lactate if they have a ridiculous amount of estrogen in their system. The reality is that it's women who are breastfeeding. That's why this is sexist. And so for this conservative court to make this ridiculous statement just to be a jackass that no, it's not sexist because men can lactate too. Well, you show me any population on earth where at least 1% of the men are breastfeeding the children several times a day for the first year of their life. Then maybe this would make some sense. But it's double standards. It's hypocrisy through and through. And so that's why this is the topic that I've been all over this topic today. And it aggravates me so much to see and hear women still being discriminated against just for being women. And that's what both of these situations are really about, no matter how they want to dress it up. Either women are obscene or women are just like everybody else, and yet we actually are the ones who are doing all the breastfeeding. So it's crazy. So I encourage you to not be an armchair activist. You need to actually speak out. You need to start a change.org petition to change these policies on Facebook and other social media websites, and to change this in our system. It's absolutely ludicrous, and we need to fight it because we are slowly, steadily losing our basic human rights. Have you noticed that? Women, we are steadily losing the few rights that we've been allowed to have protected under the law. We still don't have the Equal Rights Amendment. So I am begging you, do something about this because this is absolute discrimination on both counts. So that is where we are today with Aroused Woman Wednesday. And, I look forward to hearing what you have to say, even if you disagree. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I would love to have a dialogue with you because I am sick and tired of women being treated this way in every level, especially when, in the case of the Supreme Court case, Obamacare actually allowed for and requires a room and break time for women to pump breast milk. So it's ludicrous. So what are we going to do about it? The change is not going to happen out there at the big level. The change happens here. It happens with and starts with the individual. So what are we going to do about it? Women and men who love us, what are we going to do? Because we can't keep going this way. So leave a comment, tell me what you think we should do and what you think and feel about these situations, and let's start a dialogue. Let's actually do something. Don't just complain about it. Do something. That's what action is. That's what an activist is. That's what being aroused really means, is to stir to action, to awaken. And so there you have the first installment of Aroused Woman Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And tune in every day, because there is a new topic on all sorts of things every single day of the week, as I do my video series of a video every single day in 2015. Subscribe. I love you. Take care and connect with me. Talk with me. All right. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.